first by introducing Tony Nelson of the Mexico's Solidarity Network. He will in turn introduce our featured speaker, Nelly Ortiz, and translate for her. Tony has worked as a community organizer, teacher, and human rights activist around the issues of immigration, education, prison reform, anti-neoliberalism, and U.S.-sponsored torture. His political orientation is formed by the solidarity work he has done with compañeras fighting for economic and social justice in Mexico, Guatemala, and the U.S. He received his bachelor's from Grand Valley State University and his master's from Syracuse University in the areas of communication theory, rhetoric, and philosophy.
So when you hear this issue about immigration in the United States, you have to remember this context. That businessmen are making millions of dollars in other countries and bringing it back to the United States, and they're never thought of as immigrants. And so I'll leave you this one question as we go forth as I introduce Nelly. What country and when would you ever be an immigrant? And I think people from the United States very rarely think of themselves as being an immigrant. Even if you get an internship in France to make money and bring back home, you don't think of yourselves as an immigrant, right? The term has been polluted, and the term has been used so derogatorily that it's hard for U.S. students to think of themselves as immigrants ever. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Nelly Ortiz. She is one of the strongest leaders at our Centro Autónomo in Albany Park, Chicago. She is forming a workers' collective there of, it's called Cleaning Power, and if we have time...
Que se encargaba de sacarnos de mi país y entregarnos aquí en los Estados Unidos.
The $7,000 is to pay the coyote that is responsible for getting me from my country across the border of the United States.
Al principio parecía bonito, parecía una aventura inolvidable, pero en realidad fue bien diferente.
In the beginning, it seemed like an unforgettable journey, like an adventure, but that didn't last.
Fue la única vez que viajé en avión hasta Guatemala. De ahí nada más emprendimos viaje a pie y en autobús.
That was the only part of the journey that I did in plane. From there, the rest of the journey would be made on foot or on bus. Spend a night there?
Fue difícil porque me cuesta tanto recordar porque llegué a dormir con los perros.
We spent the night there. It's hard for me to think about this because that night I ended up having to sleep with the dogs.
En ese momento la meta de nosotros era cruzar, pasar a los Estados Unidos.
But in this moment, our goal was to cross and to get to the United States.
Si ahora me propusieran hacer eso, les aseguro que yo no lo hago.
I can tell you that if I was told to do this now, there's no way I would do it again.
Porque así como aquí en los Estados Unidos encontré felicidad, también he encontrado mucha tristeza.
Because here in the United States, I've been able to find a lot of happiness, but I've also found a lot of sadness.
Si en ese momento yo hubiera sabido la discriminación y el racismo que encontrara en este país, no hubiera salido de mi país.
If I would have known at that moment the amount of racism and discrimination I would face in this country, I would not have.
Con la ayuda de ustedes,
And with your help,
va a ser muy pronto.
it's going to happen really soon.
Por eso yo les pido a ustedes,
And for this reason, I ask you,
ayúdennos a luchar,
help us to fight,
ayúdennos a que nuestra voz sea escuchada.
help us so that our voices are heard,